actually started a poll on my Instagram stories
Okay.
recently, and I found the replies really, really interesting.
Okay.
The question was first date red flags. And I
Ah.
swear that the answers there, Kiara, were some of the most interesting answers I've gotten from a poll. Like, merong isang sumagot, dirty nails. As in, what?
Totoo yun.
Dirty
Totoo yun.
fingernails. If dirty fingernails and toenails. As in,
Paano mo
parang,
nakita yung toenails?
meron pa nga isa, first date daw nila, nag-church sila, tapos naka-shorts tsaka tsinelas lang daw yung guy.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so I think that this would be really good if we taken back from everything that you said there.
Mhm.
I think that there should be like an updated rule book of do's and don'ts on a first date. The way that they were before, like the things that you could do before on a first date that you can't do now, it's completely different. The world is completely different, especially after a pandemic and all that kind of stuff. The dating is completely different. So on a first date, we need to write the new rules of a first date.
Ooh, new rule. Don't go in for a hug or a beso unless the other person goes in for a hug or a beso.
So then no one will ever go for a hug or beso.
Exactly.
Is it okay to make beso on the first date? On a first date.
If the first date, your agreement was, sige magpa-RT-PCR tayo bago tayo mag-date.
Paano kung pareho kayong vaccinated? Pareho kayong vaccinated.
Pwede, or antigen test.
Ah.
I think
So-
okay. The better question is that a risk you're already willing to take on the first date?
Okay, is it more of a risk for COVID or for the relationship?
That's a good one. Okay, definitely a don't, I think, parts. No,
No, okay.
sharing of food. No sharing of desserts.
For me, and again, this is all personal preference lang naman. Whatever Joyce says is on her rule book could be completely different on yours, is completely different on mine. For me, I think a beso on the cheek is fine. I think a beso on the cheek with sabay yung half yakap sa waist. Tama ba ako? Di ba
Yeah.
Diba?
I get that.
Parang ganun. Oh, hi. Pack. Done.
That's it.
That's it to start.
Okay.
Kasi that breaks down some walls, and in case that person's love language is touch, that person is already validated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it should be the guy to make that move.
Parang, kasi nangyari na sa akin to, hindi sa first date, pero sa work. I went in for a beso at tapos umiwas. So, I'm coming from a place of trauma.
What's new? Kahit sa pagbeso, trauma pa rin yung pinag-uusapan natin dito sa show na to. Ano ba
As in,
yan?
yung nag-lean in ka para mag-beso parts, tapos gumanon. Like, wow.
Up. RT-PCR ka muna.
And
Pakita
that's
mo muna
the
yung vaccination card mo.
We were RT-PCR, it was in a setup of a shoot. Everyone was negative. And I was the supposed celebrity there. And still. Kaya on my end, it's a no for me, Mr. Atayde. Bahala kayo dyan. The closest thing that I'll do is a shake of hands.
What time should you be having a first date? Is it
Oh,
dinner?
that's a really good question.
Is it coffee? Is it late night drinks?
Okay, it depends on the person that you're going out on a date with.
Okay.
Like, if you're going out with someone who you know is a morning person, I think it would be considerate to ask them for like a brunch date.
Ooh,
or
I
a
love that.
lunch date,
I love
diba?
that. It's non-threatening. Brunch is always a safe meal.
It's a safe meal. And then, or for example, halimbawa, it's someone, I'm sure this is a new thing where you talk to each other through phone lang, 'di ba? For the longest time kasi pandemic, 3 months na kayo nag-uusap pero sa phone lang talaga. Siguro a safe first date would be a coffee. Kasi it's also non-threatening, it's not a lot of ano. I think the dinner and the drinks should be like date 3 or 4. For me personally, ha.
I
From a
think that
married person's perspective who has not gone on
from
a
Tita
first
Joyce's
date.
perspective, wag mo na kayo mag-alak. Baka kung ano pa mangyari sa inyo, wag kayo mag-alak.
Wag.
For me, I think it's I think that it is I think that it depends on where the girl feels the most comfortable with.
You're such a
Um,
gentleman.
Always. When was I
Yeah,
never? Oh my
that's true.
god.
I was also thinking, like, w- when do you do the adventurous dates? Like, should you do that kaagad, like, go to an art gallery or, you know, do something fun? Is that something that you can do on a first date?
I
Or is
I
that too invested na?
I suggest that would be maybe date 4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah, because okay, mainly because you don't personally, I never wanted it that the attraction was towards the experiences alone. Like I wanted it to
Ah, ang
the attraction
ganda.
first to be towards me and my personality and who I am, and then it goes on into we experience these things together.
I get that. I get that. That's really good. That's really good parts. Okay, so red flag then. Because I can't believe this, but a red flag that I mean a lot, maybe 50% of people who replied to my Instagram story said was rude to waiters and
Yes.
crew. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes.
You have?
Yes. Yes.
This is a common thing? Wow.
Yeah.
Scoundrels.
And it I can't handle it. I cannot take it when they are rude, or even like if there was one time that the girl that I was having dinner with, her friend showed up and her friend was rude, and she didn't even like say anything about it. It was like normal, and I was like, I can't, like, I don't understand why people are rude to anyone.
Especially service.
Especially service. I mean, I I just don't understand it. So that is definitely a red flag for me. I honestly think that you can raise a red flag in the middle of the date when that happens, and you're allowed to leave. Dapat ganon. May red flag
Mm.
kan dala if there's like a reason for you to end it, and that would be it. You just raise the red flag. Okay, uwi na ako.
Not rude to
Hmm.
service, but I have an interesting story here.
Okay.
So I was on a date with someone. It wasn't the first date, so he picked me up. He has a driver, ganyan, and he asked me for money to give the driver. And so I gave around like 300 pesos. Tapos sabi niya, hindi, 100 lang para hindi siya masanay. As in, this was like 2015, 2016. Anong mabibili ni Kuya sa 100, first and foremost? Second, we were out for like dinner and drinks. So I was so taken aback by the fact na ayaw niyang bigyan ng extra money si Kuya. Kasi baka ako in my head, I also had the driver at that time, but he picked me up. And in my head, it's like, syempre dinner, kung gusto niya magkape, 'di ba? At least meron
Oh.
siyang konting money apart from the parking money pa 'yon. Pero yung hindi 100 lang para hindi siya masanay. Yung ganon, yung may I've never used the term mata pobre ever, pero yung moment na yon, medyo ang lakas mata pobre nun, Kuya. 'Di ba?
Are we still in the climate of the world where the guy has to pay for the check on the first date?
I
Oh,
think that's a good question. What's your answer to that? As a guy, what's your perspective as a guy?
as a guy, it's the same way that I've always wanted my dates, not just my first date, but my dates to go in general. I love taking care of the person that I'm on the date with, but I
Mm.
want that person to at least pretend.
I was just about to say.
Oh no, I want to pay. I pay half. No, no, no. It's okay. It's okay. That's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. That's completely fine.
I love also when guys say, hindi, sige, ikaw na next time. But then they never let you pay the
Never let
next
me
time.
next time.
Yeah, it's very cute. It's very cute. But I think also, in the climate of the world now, there are girls who would prefer na halfies. I
Yeah.
think that's okay also. But ladies, I would suggest reserve the halfies for when you guys are officially together now.
Yes, I agree.
Yung
I
legal
agree.
stage, parang it's nice that the guy is paying for it.